Hello, welcome to another gut reaction, actually a review and a gut reaction from me, Lance Dean Anthony Nelson from the Outcast Creative. I can never quite get the framing right. Everybody says I look too short, so I don't know. Maybe I need to raise this chair. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I've just seen the first two episodes with a friend of mine who has a subscription to Disney. Thank you, friend. What did I think about it? Well, I was expecting to be. I was pleasantly surprised that it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was not as good as one might have hoped for. My hopes weren't that high, I'll be honest. First of all, let's talk about it a bit. So obviously, as everybody knows, it stars Ewan McGregor. I personally always thought he was a fantastic casting choice for Alec Guinness, a younger Alec Guinness, a younger Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think he was one of the main redeeming features of the prequel films. I watched them for the first time since I saw them at the cinema over 2 nights about a week ago. That's the first time I've seen them in, I think, nearly 20 years, because didn't they come out sort of parallel to Lord of the Rings? So we're talking 2000, 2001, I think. And there's some elements of it that really don't. I mean, they weren't great films to begin with, but some of the elements really look bad, especially the VFX works. But one of the things that's good about those films is Ewan McGregor, in my view. I enjoyed watching his performance again, and it's nice to see him in a role that really suits him. He's very comfortable in the part, and I quite liked his interpretation. I liked what was going on with his character. So we are going to get into some spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it yet, press the pause button and check this out another time. The basic plot revolves around Obi-Wan Kenobi, now known as Ben, or old Ben, keeping an eye on Anakin from afar. Uncle Owen getting upset with him, dropping off bits and pieces to support the kid, and kind of says, look, just leave us alone. It's better that way. You see his life in a sense of repetition. So he's not actually doing Jedi-like things. He's doing everything he can to avoid his Jedi instincts, and a very strong narrative is thrust in episode 1 quite early on that it's difficult for a Jedi not to get involved in conflicts, not to do the instinctive thing, which is to stand up for the downtrodden and those kind of disenfranchised by society, a bit like the Outcast Creative. So that narrative is handled quite well. There's a great flashback to the assault on the Rebel Temple. Sorry, the Jedi Temple, not the Rebel Temple. That's a different temple entirely. The Jedi Temple, which of course happens in the final movie of the prequels and Revenge of the Sith. That was a great sequence. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really good, because that was one thing that I didn't think that we saw enough of in the original prequels. That whole sequence, you just knew that would have been a massive epic battle with lots of fights and things going on, and we finally got to see a bit of that, and I thought that was a really good decision. So I liked that. I liked Ewan McGregor in the part. I liked the fact that they played on the narrative of it's difficult for Jedis to hide because they end up hunting themselves, because they end up exposing themselves, because they can't resist their urge to help people. I kind of like that. So a bit like Jehovah's Witnesses coming around and pestering you and knocking on your door, trying to change your life. So all of that for me was good. And the Inquisitors, so there's a team of Inquisitors that go around looking for Jedi, hunting them down. And they go out of their way to make Inquisitor Reva, played by Moses Ingram, perfectly adequate in the part, as particularly more evil than the rest. She's chopping off hands left and right and this kind of thing. But the other Inquisitors talk down to her as though she's from a different class, because she is. But I suspect it's because deep down they know that she's not as evil as she pretends to be. And I think that's maybe going to come. We're going to see that happen at some point in the show. That's my personal opinion. Is I think she's going to have an arc where she comes good, and we're going to find out where the hatred comes from, and it's not going to be the same kind of hatred as the dark side of the Force. So she's not quite the same as the rest. That's my gut feeling. Sun Kang is one of the other Inquisitor's fifth brother. He's pretty cool, kind of like him, apart from his silly hat. You've got Benny Safdie in a sort of mercenary, sort of dodgy mercenary role. He's kind of a rip-off merchant, really, but I think he's in all 6 episodes, so I think he's going to end up being a more important character than we originally thought. Kumali Nanjiani, same thing as well. He's kind of a scammer, pretends to be a Jedi. That scene in episode 2 between him and Ewan McGregor is actually really funny. So there's some good. Tonally, it felt fairly close to what Star Wars should be. So I wasn't tonally. It felt quite good. The look of it was okay. Yeah, Tatooine again, boring, but they did go off world, and that, of course, is a topic which everybody was waiting. Like, is Obi-Wan going to go off world? Well, spoiler alert, he does. He leaves to go and try and rescue Princess Organa, who's been kidnapped deliberately to draw him out. Now, the fact that Organa's got a connection to Kenobi is supposed to be a complete secret, so I'm not quite sure how the Inquisitors know this, and I feel this is the plot element of the story that somewhat lets it down. Because if the Inquisitors knew this, and quite some time has passed between the events of the prequels and when this is set, I think sort of 10 years or something. So I'm pretty sure that if they sensed there was this connection, Vader would know it too, and pretty soon there would be ships of, armies of legions of stormtroopers arriving, and they would just grab her and take her away. So that for me was a plot point that didn't hold up. Didn't make sense within the laws that have already been created in the universe, and when you break your own laws, that's not a good thing. So that for me let it down a bit. There's some chase sequences involving Princess Leia, which I've got to tell you are pretty annoying, particularly the one in the woods. Not very well choreographed, and the bad guys are like the worst bad guys on the planet. One of them just runs into a tree branch and then stands there, and it looks like a stunt that went wrong. It's not, but it just looks weird. Yeah, there were some things in it that like that didn't hold up well. Overall, though, it was entertaining. My friend who I watched it with was far more pleased with it than I was. And I'll freely admit I am a first-generation Star Wars fan. So I am of the era where we all queued up that summer of 77 and in the UK, I think it was summer of 77, and went to see the movie like 5-6 times at the cinema. But listen, as long as they don't mess with established lore, I'm okay with them doing other shows, as long as they're well written and well acted and well directed. It's, for the most part, this is pretty well acted. The direction is so-so. I didn't think the direction was brilliant. It was okay. The world building is all right. It fits within the frame. There are some elements of the story that don't quite add up, and it's on the whole, it's pretty good. At the minute, for the first 2 episodes, I give it like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 to 7 out of 10. There's quite a lot happens in episode 2. I don't want to get into too many spoilers for people, but there's a pretty cool death of a couple of people. Another actor I want to mention is Rupert Friend, who plays this kind of Grand Inquisitor type of character. Something interesting happens with him. But yeah, it's he's good. Joel Edgerton is good as in anything he's in. And there are some other actors in some supporting roles like Simone Kessel, who really sort of kind of give their parts the appropriate amount of conviction mixed with pathos and makes it all believable within the Star Wars universe. Yeah, do I recommend it? I need to see the rest of the show until I can say whether this gets the Lance Nielsen seal of approval for what it's worth. At the minute, I'm undecided. Like I said, there are some plot inconsistencies that for me don't hold up well, but I did enjoy it. It was fun, and I like seeing um, Kenobi, the character of Kenobi again, because I like Ewan McGregor in that part. He's always a plus for me. So if you agree or you don't agree, put some comments below. Let's get a discussion going. I'd love to hear your views about it. You know, do you want to see more of it, or are these 2 episodes enough for you? Yeah, do let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for the Outcast Creative. Do check out our other content. We've got loads of other stuff coming. Oh, I forgot to put this on. See, I'm just so like new to this. It's all new for me. But yeah, check them out. We've got loads of industry interviews from people both in front and behind the camera. We've got more coming. I'm interviewing Paul Biddis next Wednesday, and I'm interviewing an actor from Cassian Andor show as well coming up. So I've got a Star Wars guest coming on soon. So do check out the channel, like and subscribe, and we'll see you all again real soon.